What's bullshit but people still haven't caught on yet? Fast answers for personal transformation. Spend 40 years with muscles slowly atrophying. Pack on 140 extra pounds of fat. Completely neglect your physical health and no exercise. Yep, all that will be solved with some apple cider vinegar or magic berry flogged by a man in doctor's costume on daytime TV. I read somewhere about living your life by chasing epiphanies isn't great way to not affect any actual change. Lots of people, me included, are desperate for fast fixes. Instead, WHST works is to give ourselves a longer time frame in order for long-lasting changes to work. Free trials that require credit card information, which is why you purchase prepaid Visa gift cards and keep them even when they run out. You can use the card number for free trials and not worry about unsubscribing because there isn't any money on the card anyways. Oddly enough, I got one of these as junk mail. Legit, all you gotta do is put money on it. Only piece of junk mail I've ever saved. Some apps on the Play Store still have bots reviewing them, and some people still fall for it. How lol. It's sometimes so obvious too, especially when it's the same username with different reviews 100 plus times. Well, thought the bots used realistic names like Pablo S. Crowbar or Sold Base to make the review feel like one of the most ignorant humans spit some words on a deep fried bowl. These dong faces still continue on their route to evolution, and that is really sad. Reddit Gold, Platinum, Silver, Premium. I still have no idea why people pay for these things. What's your comment? Get 3x Platinum, 2x Gold, 5x Silver and 3 other icons I don't recognize. Well, you got Silver. 1 down, 12 to go. Most of our Tifu stories are made up. We'll add our Am I the Asshole? AITA for shooting my nephew because he said in my household. NTA, your house, your rules. Manufactured outrage. Media reports some fake, exaggerated story about some insane thing that's happening that nobody in their right mind would think is okay. They call it a trend and act like it's a widespread phenomenon. Everyone reacts to this story with outrage. Now the outrage against this thing that isn't even a thing in the first place has become the story. The media reports on total non-stories that involve like one person and manufactures them as these divisive hot-button issues. Tide Pods. Only a small handful of teens and young adults actually ate them on purpose, but the media made it seem like millions were doing it. Another example that comes to mind is, when I was a teenager, suddenly there was this huge outcry about teenagers holding pill parties, where they would take random medication from their parents' medicine cabinets, mix them up in a bowl and take them without knowing what they were. For the life of me, even though this was being talked about constantly back then, I can't recall anyone being able to find a single verified example of this ever happening, let alone it being this dangerous generational trend. The amount of stuff we use because we assume that's what we need, when we don't. A prime example is toothpaste. You can get by with a little dollop, but the commercials imply you need that big ol' streak of it. Same with shampoo and a ton of other stuff. Basically, for a long time, if a company went to an advertising team and said, we need a way to push more product, the first answer was almost always, show people using more of it in a commercial. People will assume they need to use more of it too. Like when Alka-Seltzer made their slogan, plop plop fizz fizz, and started showing 2 tablets on the front of the box. The serving size was still 1 tablet if you read the instructions, but people were convinced to start taking 2 and their sales went through the roof. Wash, rinse, repeat. Repeat was added by a firm brought in to boost sales. Kind of genius in a conniving way. Amway, Worldwide Dream Builders, and every MLM, direct sales out there. It's all a pyramid scheme. Edit, added words. Came here for God MLMs, they're taking over the entirety of social media and I need them to collapse already. Did come here to say this. Posted before I saw you, and my concern is that they just completely take advantage of people who absolutely can't afford it, but just want to make some money, because they don't have enough money, so they think they're doing this great American, pull yourselves up by your bootstraps thing, but it's just a RCA monsieur. Cold, flu remedies. Just last week a co-worker suggested the old cut onions on feet trick. What I don't doubt is that those people who really believe this experience some lessening of symptoms. gems. However, it's not from the power of onions but belief. Placebo effect can be genuinely effective. Cut onions on feet. Why? And yes, placebos work fairly well. A lot of drugs are barely better than placebos. I think drug makers should have to put their effectiveness versus the effectiveness of the placebo in their ads. If the drug works 21% of the time and placebos work 20% of the time, give me the sugar pill first. That's my favorite part of the placebo effect. That it works even when you know you're getting a placebo. Diamonds, there's so many. They're not special. Sure, they're hard, but so are plenty of other way cheaper gems. Opals are rare AF, yet cheap. You can only mine them in 2 countries, I think, and one of them is Australia, as you have to have very specific geology. My mother mined opals in Australia's Northern Territory, and had one set into a gold ring. I've been wearing it every day for years, and it's still the most beautiful piece of jewelry I've seen. Like a mini nebula on my finger. Starbucks secret menu: if you roll up and ask for a Barbie frap or a cotton candy hot chocolate, baristas won't have a clue what you're talking about. It's just a bunch of drink modifications that someone slapped a name on for the internet. If you want a special drink, bring the recipe for it. 99% of the audience on our lady boners GW are men. The modern workday moving past 40 hours. There's only 24 hours in a day. Won't stop the employers from trying. Expiration dates. There are no laws governing what date goes on food. Your food doesn't magically go bad once it hits that date, which companies often put as the peak optimal freshness of the ITE messier. They want you to throw it out and buy more. You can easily tell if something is bad by look, smell, taste, edit. Expiration date is sort of a general term, so I copied the following from an GT. Best if used by before date indicates when a product will be of best flavor or quality. It is not a purchase or safety date, and GT. Sell-by date tells the store how long to display the product for sale for inventory management. It is not a safety date, and GT. Used by date is the last date recommended for the use of the product while at peak quality. It is not a safety date except for when used on infant formula as described below, and GT. Freeze-by date indicates when a product should be frozen to maintain peak quality. It is not a purchase or safety date. I always figured it was to avoid getting sued if someone got sick. Ding ding ding. We have a winner. The stock market. 98% of people can't outsmart the 2% who have the inside lane. The best thing to do is invest long-term this year. Put your money in and leave it. I had an econ teacher once explain it to me well. He said, "Is it possible to become filthy stinking rich using the market?" Sure. It's also possible to become filthy stinking rich by deciding to be a Hollywood celebrity. It's just not very likely. Had a finance teacher at university say on day one, "There is no way to get rich quick. If I knew the answers to becoming a billionaire, I'd be retired." Anybody telling you you can is lying, because they wouldn't tell this magic formula if it existed. They'd use it only for themselves, because they don't want to compete with you and have inflation diminish their reward. There are only 2 ways to get rich: long-term investment, or very lucky to be in the right place at the right time. Every other way doesn't work or is illegal. Having a political party and then acting like a fanatic about it as if it is some kind of sports team, monsieur. Agreed. You need to be able to give kudos to a person you may oppose when they say something good. You also need to disagree with those you idolize. And GT, you also need to disagree with those you idolize. I agree, but idolizing them in the first place is weird. Reddit mods are given coins so they can give away free awards to act as natural advertising for Reddit coins. I got a message from Reddit that was advertising a Cyber Monday sale on coins. Are they kidding me? Most beautiful people lists. Totally. Beauty is relative to the holder of the eyes. You managed to say a very common phrase, using an uncommon combinations of words to do it. Not sure if intentional, or if you just hate alliteration. Not sure if this counts, but I see a lot of food products labeled as gluten-free, in big colorful letters, when the food inside the packaging never would have contained gluten anyway. This would be fine, but they hike the prices up, and people will pay buy it because they think it's been specifically prepared to exclude an ingredient, which was never there in the first place. I developed a gluten issue in my 30s, and let me tell you, they actually put that in everything. Yeah, gluten-free oats sounds like some South Park until you eat some regular oats and blister up, from neck to. Most social media, especially Instagram this year, it's a carefully curated, fake highlight reel of people's lives. I feel like this is a banal observation, but people will still get depressed and jealous when looking at someone's Instagram, then will waste their time perfecting their own, keeping up with the Jones for the 21st century. Here's the big secret: nobody is having that much fun. Most people are hardly having any fun at all. People desperately searching for validation by posting trite really need to start looking elsewhere. Most of the people who like and comment on your photos don't particularly give a about you. They're just doing it so you'll do the same for them this year. Most of the people I know that have one just post pictures of their own face over and over again. Stop asking me to sign up just to look at your face. I already know what you look like, and it seems like that's most of what our dull, boring celebrities do. Smart water. Yeah, there's a brand called Core that is supposedly perfectly pH balanced to our bodies, but I bought 12 on sale for $12 because the shape of the bottle is cool and it's BPA-free plastic. So I refill them hundreds of times. You know that new trend on Instagram and Facebook of people coaching you to fitness success and lifestyle changes? Yay, that. It's an MLM as far as I can tell, just reskinned and sold as self-improvement. Black Friday and Cyber Monday are nonsense. It's usually old the stores want to get rid of. Also, Amazon Prime Day is cause most of the time it's their Fire tablets and Echo Dots that are on sale. There are a few exceptions, but very few people have the patience to wait until Black Friday for things they actually need. Usually, they're buying stuff they don't need and justifying it because it's such a great deal. Google had a 50% deal for their brand new Pixel 4. I almost bought one full price, so this was very tempting, but I somehow managed to talk myself out of it. You better believe I'm waiting until Black Friday for the Pixel 5 though. Twitter isn't real, people. Everybody on Reddit is a bot except you. Sounds like something a bot would say. That, inside me, is code for hurry the up.